We have the first team announcement for week 2 of the July test window. And of course, that first team that gets announced is South Africa. Rassie continues with Bok Tuesday, and it is a momentous day for Villier le Roux and his family, with him becoming the 8th South African ever to reach the century of caps. A very, very distinguished and very short list that he now joins, and that is an amazing achievement. Villier le Roux starting at fullback, and what a moment for him. He made his debut in 2013 against Italy. He makes his 100th appearance against the Azzurri 12 years later. 2 World Cup winners' medals later. He has, and you know, there was years when I was working on the Premiership and he was playing for Wasps. The guy is absolute class. And I think the selection of Villier le Roux and Makazole Mapimpi in the back line, and other players besides, Kobus Reinach on the bench. I absolutely love this about Rassie Erasmus. It's something I've mentioned recently, and I'm just going to underline the point with it being Villier le Roux and his 100th appearance. I love the value that is given to experience by Rassie Erasmus, and I think a lot of fans should look and take note of that. I've talked about my own frustrations as an Englishman, looking at my team and some of the great players that have worn the jersey who've been treated appallingly by England fans. Owen Farrell, the way he was treated at the World Cup, one of the best players we've ever had. George Ford at the weekend, getting all the plaudits on his 100th appearance. Man of the match performance, incredible game against Argentina on his 100th appearance. And he's flavour of the month right now. But go back to November last year, and he got brought on for the last 20 minutes of the game against New Zealand, missed a penalty, missed a drop goal, and suddenly he should never play for England again, and Steve Borthwick should never have brought him on. Just awful. And I love, going back to it and going back to the Bok team, I love the value that is given to experience. And let me just underline that fact by saying that it's a completely changed backline from last week against Italy. And there are 3 new players on the bench in the backline as well, with Villier le Roux, the only one continuing from last week, moving from the bench to fullback. Out of the backline, which is completely changed from, you know, and guys like Jesse Creel and Damien Dialende and Andre Pollard and Faf de Klerk and all these other guys. So all those guys with all those World Cup winners' medals have been replaced. And in a completely new backline, there are 12 Rugby World Cup winners' medals between them. Just phenomenal. And to that end, I don't know how Rassie Erasmus picks his team. I think I would find it stressful if I were the Bok coach, just purely selecting players, because there are so many and so many good ones. How do you choose between them? It is interesting that 16 changes from the match day 23. 7 players continue. And I'll come on going through each position in a minute. But just on that broader point, in fact, I've got a bit of an exclusive for you here. Bit of an exclusive. I can peel back the curtain, take you behind the scenes. This is how Rassie Erasmus picks his team. I mean, just consider how stressful it is. How do you pick lock, for example? You've got 8 amazing locks. Etzebeth and Lou Diaka last week with Sneeman on the bench. You've got Jean Klein, you've got Ruan Norkia, you've got Kobus Wiese, you've got Franco Mostert, you've got Salman Murat. How do you pick between those 8 locks? That's how Rassie picks his team. Just puts all the names in a bingo crate and goes, that's how I'd have to do it. Because I wouldn't know where to start. It's interesting that last year Rassie Erasmus used 51 players in his squad throughout 2024. Already we're in game number 2, not counting the Barbarians game. It would be more if you count Barbarians, but 2 games in, proper full test matches, and he's already used 39 players. It's just unreal. The 7 players that continue in the sides are Malcolm Marx and Wilco Louw in the front row, Marco van Staden and Jasper Wiese in the back row. And you've got Villier le Roux stepping up from the bench to the starting lineup in the back line. Jan-Hendrik Wessels staying on the bench, moving to hooker rather than loose head prop. And that is another feature of this side. Multi-positional players, hybrid players. We saw Andre Esterhuizen getting used as a flanker against the Barbarians. That seems to be one of the new trends in rugby. We've seen Oscar Jegu, a flanker, playing at centre for France. We've seen Ben Earl, a back row, playing at centre for England. and for the British and Irish Lions. We're seeing more and more of this hybrid players. And when it comes to a World Cup squad, versatility is absolutely massive. And no one showed us more than that than in the last World Cup, when Grant Williams was one of 4 scrum halves but could play on the wing. You've got Cheslin Colby, who could slot in at 9, at 15, at the wing, could goal kick. And it's massive for a World Cup squad. And so look at the versatility in some of the players there. You've got Thomas du Toit, number 1. Now, he is an absolutely elite tight head prop. And I was focused on who would win the Bok number 3 jersey. Would it be Thomas the Tank or would it be Villier le Roux? Just put them both in the front row together. Have them both in a matchday squad. Thomas du Toit is arguably, and he might well be, and I could make a case for him being the most valuable player in world rugby because he can scrummage at an elite level on both sides of the scrum. It's a dying art form. And Trevor Nyakane was that guy for the Boks that enabled them to be able to have more players in different positions. Thomas du Toit, an upgrade even on him, and coming into his prime years now. So that front row is frightening. Quadzilla at tight head prop, Thomas the Tank at loose head prop, and an absolute animal. Malcolm Marks, what an athlete. And then you look at the bench, and if you're Italy, you're going, right, got rid of those boys. Who's coming on? Oh, Oxenche and Clabakanye. I'm so happy that he's getting a debut, by the way. In fact, I haven't even mentioned the 3 debutants. 3 debutants waiting on the bench, and Clabakanye being one of them. And I just love that guy because he looks how props should look. He's kind of got an old school feel about him, although he is a modern athlete. And the videos behind the scenes showing the work that he did with Dan Human to shed kilos and kilos, that hard work has paid off because he's about to win his first test cap. Yes, he played against the Barbarians and he pulled on the jersey. That would have been amazing. But he's doing it for real when he's going to get a little cap afterwards that no one can ever take away from him. And he will have that forever. And generations of his family will be able to look back with serious pride at him being a proper, full-on test match Springbok. But this could just be the start for him if he takes his chance. And you could see him being part of the squad moving forward. Other debutants, Cobus Visa. Talk about special moments for families. Cobus Visa getting a debut alongside his brother. Will they both be on the pitch at the same time? That would be very cool. And Ethan Hooker as well. Talk about versatility of players. He can play 11, 12, 13, 14. Where will he come on? In what guise? Cobus Reinach, he could slot in on the wing or scrum half. Sasha could play 10, 12, 15. Versatility, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, he's playing at hooker. Never been as convinced by him there as at loosehead prop, but he's on the bench in that role. And yeah, so front row class. Oh, Salman Murat, skipper. Haven't even mentioned that. I mean, have a drink every time during a match when Salman Murat says someone mentions his leadership qualities or the fact that he's captained every single team that he's ever played for. But those are facts. And there's clearly something to this. There's question marks around him from a performance point of view. Is he nasty enough? He's a big old unit. I was sat in the, I forget the name of the hotel, but it was in Pretoria before that Ireland match last year. And the Boks were staying in the hotel. And he walked past. The guy is enormous. Absolute specimen. You just sort of think, if he plays a little bit nastier, he could be a dominator. But clearly he has got a certain something which coaches, which other players love, because he's got the honour of skippering the Boks alongside another guy with leadership qualities, Ruan Nokia. Really, that's a really cool lock pairing. Peter Steph du Toit. How have I got to this point in the video and I've not even mentioned arguably the best player on the planet starting again? Just ridiculous. No Siya Kolisi still. No, I'm not going to say a concern. There's plenty of time and rugby championships around the corner. I'm sure he'll be back. But Marco van Staden getting another go there. He did well last week. Jasper Wiese got through so much work. He is on the bench. He is starting at number 8, with his brother on the bench. And Evan Ruiz, talking of number 8s, what an opportunity for him. Not included in the wider squad, but he's there now. He's obviously knuckled down and done a load of work because he's not just going to be handed a cap for nothing. Well, he's got an opportunity off the bench, and with Cameron Hanekom injured, with other guys like Siya Kolisi out as well, he has a chance and he can prove himself. And again, talking of specimens, he's got all the attributes to be a top player. Like his Stormers teammate, Murat, go out and deliver, go out and execute. It's a 5-3 split as well. Another talking point on the bench, a 5-3 split, unless, I mean, you wouldn't put it past, I don't know. We thought it was a 5-3 split with Andre Esterhuizen on the bench, didn't we? Maybe we're going to see Ethan Hooker playing hooker. You never know. But the back line, Williams and Libok always play well together. And Mani Libok was nailing his kicks against the Barbarians the other week. So what can he do? And I wonder if Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu, Sasha FM, my favourite radio station, I wonder if he will come on at fullback for Villier le Roux, perhaps. Mapimpi and Van der Merwe. Wheels and Esterhuizen and Moody. That's probably another one where, if it's a silly thing to say, but there might be a tiny little bit to prove for Kanan Moody at 13. Always looks really good on the wing, but a partnership and Esterhuizen and Moody could be a absolute dynamite backup partnership, and he's got Ethan Hooker breathing down his neck now, so no shortage of options. Saturday evening, I'll be watching, following the game. I'll be here bringing you my reaction. Let me know your thoughts to this team. And yeah, hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one.